Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Delaney, and for today's video we are going to be doing another module of the Online Makeup Academy series. So today we're going to be going over module 6, which is bridal makeup. This one is my favorite. I had been waiting the entire course for this module because I don't know if you know this about me. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on my channel, but I love weddings. I used to watch Say Yes to the Dress pretty religiously. Every time a new episode would come on, I'd record it, I'd watch it. It was a family tradition. Me and my mom would watch it. It was just a fun thing. I just love weddings. I love the dresses, the food, everything, the planning, everything. Just Monica from Friends is going to be me. Whenever that time comes, which hopefully soon-ish, I will be Monica Geller from Friends. I'll have the binder, I'll have everything bridal, just everything I'm so excited for. But back to the module. So this is all about bridal makeup. If you're interested in seeing a tutorial of my bridal makeup, then keep on watching. All right, so I'm sorry, it is light out, so the sun is going to be coming through, and the lighting kind of is what it is right now. But again, let me just start off by saying, in the whole world right now, there's just a lot going on, but just in my life right now, there's a lot going on too, and I just wanted to throw this in. I am so grateful that Online Makeup Academy is so flexible with their timing. I just know that if I had to have a set schedule for this, I would not do well. And I'm sure that's the case for many people, especially with full-time jobs, trying to learn but not have it take up, you know, the entirety of your life. So if you're interested in this course, the flexibility is definitely a huge perk. So I just wanted to say thank you to Online Makeup Academy for that option. I'm very happy with that, and without it, I probably wouldn't be able to get through the course. So let's move on. So during the module, they talk about airbrush makeup. They talk about just your standard kind of bridal go-to look. They also have a way to bump it up for like an evening look. If you want to go from, let's say, ceremony to reception and have a little bit more drama in the look. And then they also do a module all about glitter and bumping up a look with glitter. So there were 3 homework assignments for this module, and I will pop them up right here for you so you can see the finished looks that I submitted. But I'm going to be doing a little tutorial on the first look, which is ceremony, just for fun. So I am fresh-faced. I'm not going to go over everything in the module verbatim. That would just take too long. I'm not the professor. I'm not teaching a course. I'm just giving my review on it. So let's jump right in. All right, so I have my face primed and ready with sunscreen. Yes, sunscreen. I'm testing out the new Glow Recipe sunscreen right now, SPF 50. I will let you know how I like that in the future, but I've used it twice so far and really enjoyed it. And I have found so far that it goes well underneath makeup, but can't forget sunscreen. On the day of your wedding, it's up to you if you want to wear sunscreen or not, but you should probably always be wearing sunscreen, especially if you have an outdoor ceremony. So I'll just leave that one up to y'all. But now that our face is prepped, I've used moisturizer and sunscreen. My face is nice and plump, so we're gonna go in with foundation. In the module itself, the actual look that they do, they use light coverage, everything. I'm going to be modifying it a little bit to accompany acne, because every single model in that course, at least to this point, has not had acne. They've had crystal clear skin, which I understand for teaching purposes, but I feel like you should know how to cover up acne as a makeup artist, but that is something that I live with, so it's just what I do. So I'm gonna go ahead and use a more full coverage foundation, and I will show a little bit of the color correcting as well, things that I do to counteract my acne. I'm gonna kind of treat this as if, okay, I'm getting ready for my wedding ceremony. My make-believe wedding ceremony. I don't have a ring yet, but anyway, let's just go ahead. I did want to do a little bit of color correcting. I'm going to take a little bit of the green shade, and I'm going to take a little bit of that pink salmon-y shade as well, and I'm just going to cover up the major spots here. I am doing this with a little detail brush. You can use whatever brush you want, but if you really want to pinpoint it, the smaller brushes are better. Now you can do this before or after foundation. I have found that either works, but before foundation is nice, so you use less product. Less foundation, that is. And the foundation, at least to me, is the most expensive makeup item that I usually use. So just keep that in mind, especially as a makeup artist. If you are buying expensive foundations, then you don't want to use as much product. So everywhere that is red, I am using that mixture of the salmon and the green just to counteract that redness, and it works really, really beautifully. Now, this is how I got started with makeup, to be honest. In high school, I had a ton of acne, and I just needed to know how to cover it. Because acne is one of those things that it's never like the same for everyone. And not to be graphic, but you can have acne that's more like blister-like. You can have like pustule kind of acne. It's not just always a little red dot. So you kind of have to work around it when you're doing makeup. But at the same time, trying not to clog your pores in general, because you don't want to lead to more acne. So in high school, you can imagine being an acne-prone person. In high school, I had a lot of acne, and this was my way of dealing with it. I could not leave the house without makeup because of that. I just did not feel like myself. There are people who can walk around with their acne showing and feel beautiful, and I commend that. I do. It's just not what I feel most beautiful in. So even just this little bit of color correcting, this would allow me to walk outside. Like, I feel like this is like a bare face kind of look, and this is not completely gone, but at least it's toned down enough that I feel like I could walk outside and not feel like people are immediately looking at my acne. So that's this point that I want to get it to before foundation, because the foundation is a more full coverage foundation. I chose a radiant foundation because I have dry skin. Keep in mind, if you are oily skin, you probably want something a little bit more mattifying, but keep in mind your venue as well. That's something that they talked about. I'm going to apply this as I talk. See how that just is going to even it out anyway. I just wanted to add coverage to those spots that were a little bit more intense. Remember, it's going to be photographed. You're going to be seeing people up close, so you have to take both of those things into account. So you can't just do makeup that looks good on camera. Like a lot of the Instagram baddie kind of makeup is very, very heavy. If the bride asks for it, then yes, but most everyday brides, I don't think, ask for that heavy of a glam. See, some of the color correcting is still there, some of it's not, but I will touch that up after as well. Sometimes it's just kind of go as you can kind of thing. Acne is unpredictable. Sometimes the color correcting will stick and sometimes it won't. Like this one got covered pretty well. All right, foundation is done. I'm now going over with a pot concealer just to really get those spots. I did color correct, but honestly, I should have color corrected after foundation, but hey, I'm not a professional yet, so. And this part was not in the tutorial, okay? As so far, they have not covered acne, so I haven't gotten any new techniques other than the ones that I currently have been using. So pardon me if it's not the end-all be-all for acne coverage, but I kind of go as I can. It's been working for me so far. I do have cystic acne, most likely hormonal, so I'm used to pimples of all shapes and sizes, to be honest. Acne is spot concealed. You can still see it a little bit, but the powder is going to cover some of that as well, just as a heads up. So you don't want to add too many layers. For today, I'm going to be using the KVD Good Apple Concealer. This is a newer one. I like it so far. It's a very high coverage concealer, so great for brightening, but you really don't need much at all. See the difference that made? Oh my god. Concealer is one of those products I cannot leave the house without. Foundation, yeah, sure. but I will always use concealer. I mean, that just brightened everything up so fast. All right, I'm also gonna put a little bit on my forehead, down the nose, and on my chin, just to bring the face kind of forward a little bit, just because I think that looks good on me. So let me blend this out. Taking my RCMA Original No Color Powder and my puff. I'm getting a generous amount on the puff, stamping it on the back of my hand, excess off, and stamping it underneath the eye. Don't want too much powder under here. Don't want to look cakey, but I need to set that concealer because my under eyes have fine lines. Woohoo. Now that the under eyes are done, I'm just going to take a little bit of powder, just kind of the excess, and go and set my forehead and the places where I put the concealer. I'm going to take a little extra powder just on the point of the puff and go over those major spots. So the face is done just with like base complexion products. We're gonna move on to some bronzing, contouring, etc. But I did want to mention that acne is a very personal thing when you're doing makeup, especially when it's on you. Acne coverage is a very personal thing. Me, I don't care if a little tiny bit peeks through, especially if I'm doing real life events. If I'm doing something that's just on camera, like a makeup video or something like that, I can go a little bit heavier in coverage and kind of really erase those acne blemishes. But for real life, if a little bit peeks through, it looks like natural skin to me. So that's fine. I don't really need it to cover 100%. This is my perfect coverage here. I feel like when you immediately look at my face, it's not like, ooh, acne is the first thing I see. But if you look really closely, you're gonna see spots. But I would rather that than cake on makeup and it look crazy. So at least for right now, this is how I do my makeup. This is a person that does not have crystal clear skin, but this is coverage. So, and it's a radiant foundation. I do like the radiant foundation aspect. I feel like it gives my skin a little bit of shine, a little bit of glow, because I have dry skin and I need that extra hydration. So moving on to bronzing, contouring, just to show off some of the products that came in the kit. I'm gonna use the contour powder from the Online Makeup Academy, big palette here. Looks like this. I'm gonna use this shade to contour. It is a beautiful contour shade on fair to maybe light skin tone. I'm gonna use a brush that has a slight angle. I'm gonna go into that contour powder here. Just add a little bit under the cheekbone. Just to add some definition. You could do eyebrows first, but I don't feel like doing that right now. I feel like doing contour first. I'm gonna go under the jaw. Now this is just contour, this is not bronzing. This is just at the hairline here, underneath my jawline to kind of carve that out a little bit, and underneath the cheekbone as well. All right, see how this side of my face looks way different than this side. You can already see just by one powder product how much that actually does. So let's keep going. One thing to make sure of with bridal is, well, with any makeup in general, is that everything is blended to perfection. You do not want to do bridal makeup on someone and have a line on their jaw or anything that's going to be showing in their pictures for the rest of their life. Trust me, they'll remember, they'll hate you for it. Well, I don't know for sure about that, but I think that would be the case for most people. It's a big day, lots of money's going into this day, lots of money in photography and film, so don't mess it up. Like, try your best not to mess this up. So I'm gonna go ahead and do eyebrows next, just because, I don't know. I'm just looking at my eyebrows and feeling like I need something there. Eyebrows are something, again, that's very personal to people. If you're doing makeup on someone else, they may want like that structured block kind of brow. They may want something very natural. You just gotta ask. But for me, I don't really do much to my brows at all. I just fluff them up a little bit like you just saw. I'll add a little bit of color just to the base of the brow and just kind of taper it like that just to give some shape. And this is the NYX micro brow pencil. Sorry, that was a mouthful. And that's about the much product yeah, it's about as much product as I do. And now I just take that product with the spoolie and fluff it into my brows. And that has worked for me forever, and I also am probably gonna like that on my wedding day, so I guess we'll figure it out. It looks great and really natural in pictures as well, so I'm just gonna stick with it. So my brows have a little bit more shape than they did before, but nothing crazy. And I'm not gonna use gel because I'm using other powders next, so don't want that to get all in my eyebrows. If you wanna bake, you can. I have dry skin, so I am not going to be doing that. But I am going to be bronzing and blushing. So I'm going to take the bronzer that came with the kit, and that is the Makeup Forever Professional, Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion, same brush. Just a little bit higher up on the face. And this is way, way more buildable than the other product was. This is just like a little tiny bit of sun-kissed glow. This is not a very pigmented bronzer, but it's also good in the fact that you can use it on many skin tones. Because of that, you can just kind of build it up to as much as you want. I am just putting a little bronze on the nose, on the upper cheekbones here, connecting it to the forehead. I'm gonna pretend that my wedding is inside, but with lots of sunlight. That's what I'm gonna go for. I don't know where my wedding would be yet, but that sounds like something I would do, because I don't really want an outdoor wedding. That's just my preference. I don't want to pay all that money for hair and makeup and then have it melt in the heat or get rained on or anything like that. I'm not a big nature girl in general, so that also makes me lean towards an indoor service. Face is bronzed up. I don't know how well it's translating on camera, just because I didn't use a ton of bronzer, but let's just keep it moving for the sake of the tutorial. I'm going to be using the Dior blush today, because I just really love this blush. I'm going to be using a little bit more of a rounded brush. This is their blush brush, and I don't know what brand it is. It came in the kit. But I'm just using it on the apples of my cheeks and a little bit, I'm bringing it up a little higher just because I do makeup every day on myself. I know that that's the placement that I prefer, but the placement is really relative to taste and face shape as well. However the bride thinks that they want their blush, to be honest. But for me, I know that my blush, I like if it has a little bit of a lifted effect, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. I will probably go over it a little bit with a glowy blush, just because I kind of want to do that instead of a true highlighter, because there will be a lot of, you know, photography. I don't really know if a true highlighter would be the best for this, but a nice glowy cheek is nice. I just like to shine. Especially because my natural oils won't help me do that. Oily skin people have the luxury of that. But yeah, no, my face doesn't give me that, so we have to make do. All right, I do take a little bit of blush on the nose and just a tiny touch on the forehead to kind of mesh the bronzer in with the blush a little bit and just mesh everything together. I just like the way that looks. All right, that looks really good. I feel like wedding makeup is very blush central. I feel like the blushing bride is a big thing, but also it's subject to the bride's taste, which is going to be a big part of doing makeup on other people. It's all about their taste. Like with TV and film, I don't know if it's just me because I haven't been in the industry, but I feel like people are probably less critical in TV and film. But the wedding, there's so much money going into it. I feel like that is probably where you're gonna have the hardest time trying to, you know, you have to be very in tune with the bride's taste and what they want to make that day special. And it's very specific to each person. I'm gonna take a little bit of the Natasha Denona Diamond and Glow, but I'm going to take the glowy blush, obviously. I think these both can be whatever you want, but to me, they're glowy blushes. just on my skin tone at least. And it matches that Dior blush pretty much in tone. It just adds a little sparkle, a little shine. This one's not inherently glitter sparkly, it's just shiny. You can kind of see when I tilt my face, there's a little bit of a dew to it now that I've added this. It's not an inherent highlighter, but it will add some glow. Now, the one that they used on the tutorial was the Charlotte Tilbury Pinkgasm. I don't have that, but I can say I absolutely love the contour wand and the highlight wand in Spotlight, so I could imagine that that would be a beautiful choice for a glowy blush on a wedding, for a wedding. So I'm gonna leave it at this, I think. You know what? Do I want to leave it at this, or do I want to add a little more highlighter? You know what? If we're talking about this being my wedding makeup, I need a little bit of a zhuzh on the highlighter end, but I'm going to choose one that's very, very subtle. And sometimes people even do a liquid highlight to achieve this, but I actually just got this highlighter from Fenty, because Fenty's now at Ulta. They have lightning dust and fire crystal in their kilowatt highlighters. One side is really glittery and one side is not glittery. I'm going to use the not glittery side, and I'm going to take very lightly on a highlighter brush. Perfect. That is the right amount of highlight for this. I don't want anything glittery. I don't want any chunks in the highlighter. I just want glow. But for me, I love a good blinding highlight. So yeah, this is perfect. Awesome. Okay. Now the face is pretty much done. Now we just need eye makeup. For this tutorial, I'm just doing the light eye makeup, not the dramatic version. So just keep that in mind. But I'm gonna start by taking my bronzer, and I'm just gonna do a light layer of that as a transition shade. So I'm gonna take my eyeshadow brush into my bronzer. And that already gives dimension right there. Wah! Now I'm gonna use this, which I think is perfect for makeup artists. This is Viseart, and this is their neutral matte palette, and it has a whole bunch of skin, it has a great range in here from fair to deep, so you can pretty much do whatever you want in the neutral realm. And I absolutely love Viseart's quality. I think it's very long lasting on the eyes, and they are just very reliable, blendable, easy to use shadows. I got this in a BoxyCharm actually, and this has probably been one of the most used products from a BoxyCharm, and I actually have two now. I got another box for like, it was like a $35 mystery box, and it came in there, and I'm so happy that I got this on a discount, first of all, and second of all, that I got a backup on a discount. That just makes me so happy, so that when this is gone, which I know I'm gonna hit pan on this shade especially, and probably the whole top row, that I actually have extras. So that works out in my favor. But I just started out with this shade, which is a little bit deeper than my, or it's like the same tone of my bronzer. I just wanted to kind of get it all blended out nicely. And now I'm going to go in with a slightly deeper one and just kind of stick it towards the outer portion of my eye. We're building in layers here. I don't want to go super full pigmented all at once. So I'm really taking my time and building that up. And I'm just gonna do something super, super light and airy, nothing crazy, but glam enough that I think it would be good for a wedding, and even maybe mine. Now, if you wanna do pink eyeshadow, you can. If you wanna do neutral, if you wanna go colorful, you do you. But for me, I know I'm gonna probably stick to neutral, because my dress is gonna be so sparkly that you're not gonna be looking at my eyes, to be honest. I mean, you will, but you know, the dress is gonna be sparkly when the time comes. I just know that. I'm going to deepen up. So we're gonna go to the next shade here. This is probably as deep as I'm gonna go with this first look. And I'm just stamping it right on that outside. Perfect. And I'm just bringing it a little bit into the crease, just on the outer portion, but really focusing it on the outer corner of the eye. Now for my eye shape, I feel like I like the look of just the darker outer edge and not the darker inner edge, and not the darker inner corner. Just like some people like a halo eye, I think my eyes look better just with it on the outer portion. It's just gonna be kind of preference. And especially as a makeup artist, you just kind of have to do what you think looks best and then see what the bride likes and if y'all are on the same page and go from there. So I think that is probably deep enough, especially for a ceremony in the bright sunshine and lots of light indoors for me, but some people could wear this out, you know, outside. It's just enough makeup that I think it'll show up on camera, but not necessarily like the main focus. This is more of a natural glam look for a bride. Now, I'm going to refrain from super like chunky glitter, even though I love super chunky glitter. One that I highly recommend, like an eyeshadow that I highly recommend, is actually from the Glam face palette from Natasha Denona. This may end up being a palette that I wear on my wedding day. I don't know for sure yet, but these shades right here, I could just see being perfect for a wedding. They're super glittery, but they're super fine. So I'm gonna take the outer corner one and just put that right on the outer corner, and then I'm gonna take the inner corner and put it on the inner corner. I love how it's named like that. It's very self-explanatory. And I'm using my finger because it's myself, but obviously I don't need to be using my finger on someone's lid when I'm a makeup artist and doing makeup on a client, but because this is my personal palette, I can do this. And that goes for everything that I've shown in the tutorial. It's my personal makeup. I'm not showing the actual like use on client kind of tutorial with the sanitation purposes and everything, because this is my personal collection. I just wanted to show the actual look off. Boom, done. Easy, light, airy. If you want to take your brush again and just kind of make sure those edges are softened. There we go. Easy peasy. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that, and I'm gonna do some mascara, and I'm gonna put an inner corner highlight in, and then I'll be right back. All right, I am back, and the mascara is done. The highlight on the inner corner is done. I think that really finishes off the look. Now, I think this is a beautiful eye makeup. I'm just covering it so it's easy for you to see. But I love the makeup. Now we're going to do lips. So I'm gonna do something really, really simple. I actually do have a Charlotte Tilbury one that I probably would use on my actual wedding day, but it's downstairs in my purse. So this one will do. This is the NYX Lip Crayon in Nude. I love the NYX crayons. I just think the Charlotte Tilbury one has a better tone to it that for my skin tone, but this one will work. I just need an outline really fast. Remember, if you make any mistakes, you can clean it up with concealer. I think that works perfectly. Now I'm going to take one of my favorite products that's not a matte lipstick, but it's a liquid lipstick, but it's a silky lip cream. So this is from Patrick Ta. This is not transfer resistant at all. For the actual day of, I may wear something a little bit more matte. This is in shade She's Independent, and I love the tone. This is one of those products that does transfer, but you can get some of these products to actually be matte if you want by taking a piece of toilet paper, ripping it and just taking one ply of it and putting it over your lips and then dotting powder over it. So I can use that trick. I can use a matte liquid lipstick, but for today, since I'm still going out places and I don't have a husband to kiss right now, I am just gonna leave it as is because it's more comfortable, but be sure to keep that in mind for brides, or if it's your wedding, you're gonna be kissing at the altar. So you need something that's not gonna transfer. But for today, this works. All right, so that was my tutorial of my bridal makeup. This looks very similar to an everyday makeup look that I would wear, but honestly, that's just me because I do glam every day. There's a very rare time when I'm not wearing much makeup. This is a pretty good representation of what I would wear if I was going out trying to be fancy, but like still keeping the eyes simple. The eyes for bridal, I think this would be perfect. I think it would catch the light beautifully, but I would feel 100% comfortable walking down the aisle with this being my makeup. So I hope you agree. Let me know what you think. This is my ceremony makeup, or look number 1 from the module. So yeah, that's that. They did talk about airbrush, how to use it, if you want to use it. I don't have an airbrush, so I'm probably not going to be using that. But if I do decide to use one as a makeup artist in the future, that module will be helpful. I'm gonna pop up again the looks right here for the dramatic change and the glitter look. So you will see those right here. But this is perfect for ceremony and your like natural glam kind of bridal look. So that was pretty much everything in the module. It was homework assignments, airbrush, also talking about contracts, what to include in contracts, things like that on the business side of being a makeup artist, as well as just some tips and tricks when you are a makeup artist for bridal, what to do, what not to do, things like that. But I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. I thought this would be a little different than me just kind of talking to y'all. Please let me know if you like this better. But otherwise, that's all I got for you for today. So I am really enjoying the course so far. This has been my favorite module by far. I love all 3 looks, and I can't wait to do them on other people as well. And if I did become a makeup artist full-time, then I definitely would be pursuing bridal. That is my favorite category. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.